again, everyone. I'm Michael Vosbein. I am the executive producer of the Peter Erskine expansion pack for BFD2. Peter and I have been friends since we were teenagers. Peter's not a stranger to the digital world. He's had sample packs out before in the past, but he approached me with the idea that we should maybe update that. And the first guy I thought to bring on board as the producer is John Emmerich, great sound designer, and I happen to have him with me here in the office today. Welcome, John.
Hey.
Tell us about this Erskine project.
The Erskine project was kind of cool for a number of different reasons. First off, and Peter's a jazz legend, so the fact that he's doing anything digital is kind of, people should pay attention to that. You know, it says a lot. So it's kind of cool. Forget what month it was, but it was early in springtime. Flew out to Santa Monica, checked out his studio. He has a Shure endorsement, so we pretty much left the drums the exact way that he plays on all the albums that he's working on right now. The exact drums, the exact mic setup, the exact preamps, all that's in place, and I just went from that to capture to do the sampling. So he's using API mic preamps through a Mo2 interface into his Mac. In this case, I just unplugged the FireWire from his Mac, plugged it into my MacBook Pro, hijacked the studio basically into my laptop, and ran the session from there. So it is exactly the same conditions that you would have Erskine if you hired him to play drums on your album.
Yes, it's important to note that it's his sticks, his heads, his
him,
drums.
It's him hitting them.
His cymbals,
Yeah.
him hitting him, his studio, his preamps, his board.
Mm-hmm.
It's what he prefers to use on his recordings.
It's 100% Peter Erskine. We did 2 kits, and I record so many drums. I might get this wrong.
Well, you don't have to necessarily itemize the drums, but there is a jazz kit.
There's his jazz kit. They're DW, so his jazz kit, which is an 18, 5x14, 8x12, and 14-inch floor tom. And he's also got this kind of cool little 20x12-inch bass drum, so we recorded that, which goes with that kit also. Then we also did his pop kit, which is a 22-inch bass drum, a 6-inch steel snare drum,
Right.
and he likes using the drum wallet, so we had that on the head also. And then 10, 13, and 16-inch deeper toms. And then basically the cymbals right out of Peter's bag, so the stuff he takes on his sessions every day is, you know, oh, we'll use this one too, so we just kind of pull it out of the bag and put it up and played it.
And he insisted on playing every articulation himself.
Well, yeah, and I thought that was very important. I'll give Peter the props. I know I've told him this in the past, but to sit and hit a cymbal and wait for it to completely ring out, it's very easy for your mind to wander. It's very easy for things to just start happening that are not, you know, it's a long, boring session, and you have to keep your concentration level up high. So he did that. Everything was cool. Played every single articulation from soft to loud. Mm-hmm. So it's Peter's actual stroke. So when he's digging into a ride cymbal and he shifts the angle just a little bit on the tip of the drumstick, that's represented in this. We also have the brushes, so sticks and brushes. Basically, it's really kind of cool because you don't get to just go to Peter's studio and record drums in his studio. It's his studio. So now the end user has Pete's sounds played by him with his system, with his setup, the exact same quality that you'd be getting if you sent him files and he played back on it. It's represented. It is virtually Erskine.
That's what we called it, virtually Erskine.
Yeah.
He was very generous with his time in allowing us to raid his studio for 3 days,
Yeah.
and to actually play all those articulations.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the follow-up to that?
Then 3 months later, went back out to Santa Monica to Peter's place and installed the raw samples in the BFD2 system in Peter's studio. Mm-hmm. And at which point he then came in and played Roland TD20SX drum set, that's his electronic kit, and I captured all the MIDI grooves. So he's now playing MIDI grooves to his exact samples. So now you've got the perfect marriage. The Peter Erskine MIDI grooves, he's actually reacting and responding to what he's hearing, which everyone does when they're playing their MIDI grooves. And then the cool thing here is all the rest of the consumers on the planet, guitar, bass, key, doesn't matter. You now can have Peter Erskine playing jazz grooves and a couple rock grooves and some Elvin type stuff. You can now have that with his exact sounds incorporated royalty free into your own performances.
Royalty free for you, and the artist still gets paid.
Yep.
Works for everybody.
Everyone's happy.
Thanks a lot, John.
Sure.